Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhujis and Matajis. So, firstly, I would like to pay my humble obeisances on to Prashanti Mataji and Mahesh Prabhuji for laying us this platform, whereby we are all today, going back and doing our homework of studying, analyzing our scriptures, our culture, our history, our philosophy, and thereby we are able to present it in a forum of this sort. So, otherwise, if it, had it been that this platform was not there, I don't think I would have done this kind of an exercise from my end. So thank you so much. I repeat this, every time, because of you, we are able to do some study of our great culture. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. So I will start with the prayers.
Yeah, please, Mother.
Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta-pada-kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajagrahe Namo महावदनाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विसे नमः। नमो ब्रह्मणय देवाय गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, Prabhuji, so I would like to make a start with all your permission.
Please, Mataji. Shall I stop sharing, Mataji, from my end?
Yes, so that I can share the screen, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Please, Mataji.
Okay. So firstly, Prabhuji, I would request all the Vaishnavas to please bless me that I'm able to deliver the discourse or the message today with all right consciousness. May the right words flow. May I speak. I speak in the right interest of Krishna and without making any offense. So I request you all to please bless me. And in case I'm able to deliver even an iota of, or I'm able to make any positive impact, then the complete credit goes to the Vaishnava gurus whom I have heard. And as a Baddhajivi of this Kali Yuga, I am bound to make a lot of mistakes. So please forgive me with a Saragrahi Bhavam. So Hare Krishna. So with that note, I would like to make a start, Prabhuji. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
So please let me know if you see my screen.
Yes, Mataji. We are able to see the screen, Mataji.
Okay. So, well, as you can see in the slide, you would be able to guess whom we are going to talk about. So before I start, I would like to just do a recap of what Mahajan actually means. So, as many of us have already covered this, I thought it is important to reiterate just for the flow for my understanding and everybody's benefit. So a Mahajan, as such, are the greatest devotees of Lord Krishna or Hari. And their devotion to Lord Krishna is unparalleled. They are like the benchmarks of devotion that people like us or who are in the path of devotion would aspire to be. So such is their devotion to Lord Krishna, and that is the reason I thought knowing the word Mahajan is very important for us to sit in the right frame of consciousness. Okay. So as you see in the slide, the great Mahajan that I would be discussing today about is Shukadeva Goswami. So if you look at the name Shukadeva Goswami, well, Shukadev is addressed by many of the Vaishnava gurus as some as Shukadeva Muni, Shukadev Maharaj, and a lot of other titles are associated. But our Srila Prabhupada specifically wanted Goswami to be associated with Shukadev. The reason being, Goswami in Sanskrit, if you actually do a Sandhi Vichhed, Go is senses and Swami is master. So basically, whoever has got the complete control over one's senses and who has mastered his senses is known as a Goswami. So Shukadeva Goswami was one such great soul. He is also known as Mukta Jiva and Atma Rama, and we will dwell upon these points as we progress through the life story of Shukadeva Goswami. So I move on to the next slide, which talks about at a high level, I mean, the various topics that would be covering as part of Shukdev's journey today. Okay, so now I move on to the next slide. Any guesses here? Who do you think this celestial goddess could be? Any guesses? Okay. I'm not sure if anybody's speaking.
No,
Anyways, let me continue then. I mean, in case
I can speak, Mataji, but I wanted.
Yeah, Prabhuji, you are the guru. So I think a guru as a teacher, you are exempted from this quiz.
I was just thinking if Prasad Prabhu or Raj or Vinay Prabhu, they can add if they know who she is. Prasad
Okay.
Prabhu and Vinay Prabhu, any idea?
No idea, Prabhu.
Who she is? Any wild guess, Prabhu? I think you can make a wild guess.
Wild guess.
Who she can be? Prasad Prabhu? Vinapadtunte.
Shukdev Goswami's mother.
Okay, no worries. I think let me explain that.
Yeah, please.
So Prabhuji, thank you for firstly responding. So basically, she is none other than our celestial mother, Srimati Radharani, and the parrot that you see next to her is, I mean, in Sanskrit, parrot is the term used for parrot is shuka. So a shuka that you see in the hands of Srimati Radharani is her personal parrot, and it's not like any other ordinary parrot that you see. It was entrusted with a special responsibility of exchanging the messages between Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna during their Vrindavan pastimes. So it had such a beautiful life wherein it had the privilege of exchanging the messages between these two divine souls. So now Shuka was very happy in the company of Srimati Radharani, but there was a time when Srimati Radharani tells the Shuka that parrot Shuka that see our pastimes in the material world it will be winded up soon, and but I instruct you to continue here. So Shuka is really unhappy because he had such a close association with Srimati Radharani, and he would always listen to the Krishna Kathas from Radharani. So imagining the life to go on without her was just impossible for Shuka. So Shuka is not willing to do so, and he kind of says to Radharani that mother, I cannot think of a life without you. But Radharani assures him that Shuka, please don't worry. Whenever and wherever the transcendental pastimes of the Lord shall be discussed, you will not feel the separation from me. So on that note, Srimati Radharani leaves to the celestial or the the higher worlds. And Shuka is now obviously, it's not easy. He's left, and Shuka is on his voyage or his journey. He takes a flight to find where the Krishna Katha is happening, because that is the only thing that would help him to be still connected with Srimati Radharani. So now you see the next slide, wherein you can actually see Lord Shiva along with his consort Parvati Devi. So Shuka is now on his way, and he reaches this special place which is called Ekamara Kanana. This Ekamara Kanana, on one of the trees, he just sits on the branch of the tree and he's observing Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi. So while Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi are in Ekamara Kanana, I think I have to give you some background to understand why they are here, because their abode is Kailasha, and they are here for a purpose. So while Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi were in Kailasha, Parvati Devi asks Lord Shiva, "Hey Prabhu, ऐसा कौन सा गुह्यतम ज्ञान है? ऐसा कौन सा गुह्यतम ज्ञान है जो आज तक किसी को प्राप्त नहीं हुआ है? और अमृत का रहस्य क्या है?" So the questions actually, if translated in English, mean that what is that confidential knowledge that has not been disclosed or revealed to anyone till date so far, and what is the secret of eternity? So now, Lord Shiva, obviously these are very confidential questions, and they have their own security zone. And Kailash is not a secured zone like we have in our IT companies. It's not a secured zone. They have devotees coming in there and praying Lord Shiva. Nandi is there. So a lot of other demigods would be around. So Lord Shiva, obviously, that's not the place where he could reveal the information. So Lord Shiva tries to find a secluded place, a place which is Nirjeev, which is where he that's Ekamara Kanana, and he fixes his position so that he can narrate or answer the questions of Parvati Devi. So now Lord Shiva is starting. So that Guhyatam Gyan, that Guhyatam Gyan or his confidential knowledge, we are very privileged that in this Kali Yuga, we have already got access to it. So it is nothing but Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so Srimad Bhagavatam is something very close to Lord Shiva's heart, and now Lord Shiva is narrating that to Parvati Devi, and that is the secret for eternity as well. So Parvati Devi, in her, she's also very happy listening to the glories of the Lord Vishnu, Lord our Krishna, and she is so immersed, and Lord Shiva is also engrossed in narrating the story to Parvati Devi. So while this is happening, because Parvati Devi had a more liking or kinship towards the Braj Leelas. So in the process, normally when someone is narrating a story or somebody is narrating something, it's as a general reciprocation, as an etiquette, we to indicate that we are very much with the flow and we are very much with the narrator. What we do is we reciprocate by making a sound like or in Hindi they say hunkari bharna. So you are very with the narrator, and so that he doesn't feel offended that he's not listening to me. So Parvati Devi was actually doing that. She was doing as when Lord Shiva was narrating the story, Srimad Bhagavatam. So Shuka, who was sitting on one of the branches, was also engrossed in the Lord Krishna Katha, and he was also, feeling the association of Radharani by the divine knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. So during the course of the discourse, what happens is as they were progressing, Parvati Devi was a little tired and she fell asleep. So while she fell asleep, our Shuka, who is in the parrot form, he was worried. Like if Parvati Devi stops doing this hunkari, saying Lord Shiva might stop narrating the Srimad Bhagavatam, and obviously for him that is his food for soul. That's his food. So he cannot stay without that. So what he does is he tries to mimic Parvati Devi while Lord Shiva is narrating the story. So Lord Shiva is immersed, engrossed, and he doesn't. He was oblivious of what is going around, and he starts. He was completely immersed in narration. And yes, the Shuka was also, listening and reciprocating in line to what Lord Shiva was giving the discourse. So after a point, what happens is Lord Shiva feels that this is definitely not Parvati Devi. I think there is someone else in this Ekamara Kanana. And when he gazes up, he finds that there is a parrot sitting him. And with the fear that this is a confidential knowledge, it would be misused. So he takes out his trident and he runs behind Shuka in order to kill him. So Shuka, he flies towards the hermitage of Maharshi Vedavyasa. So Maharshi Vedavyasa needs no introduction, but just a small thing. He was the literary incarnation of Lord Krishna, and his role has been so instrumental in the whole epic of Mahabharata, and he is one of the greatest sages. He has composed so the Vedas, all the literature of Sanatana Dharma. So he needs no introduction basically. So when Shuka reaches the hermitage, Vitika Devi, who's the wife of our Vyasadev, she was working there, and she was in the process she was tired and she was yawning. So what Shuka does is he takes a Sukshma Rupa, subtle form, and enters into the womb of Mother Vitika. So now Mother Vitika and the Lord Shiva, who went, following the Shuka, could not find Shuka anywhere. And when he has a discussion with Maharshi Veda Vyasa that Maharshi, where is I couldn't find the parrot. So anyways, Veda Vyasa tells him that, see, he has already heard the part of the story. I mean, so which means that he has attained eternity. So there is no point, you killing him. And it's better you just retreat. And so thus, listening to the instructions of the great Maharshi, Lord Shiva retreats. So now our Shukadeva is in the womb of the mother. He is in the, the most sacred place, the place of where Veda Vyasa is. He receives the Vedas, Upanishads, all the scriptural knowledge from his father, who is Vyasadev. And he is, so while in the womb itself, he is trained in all these great Indian literature, Sanatana literature, basically. So now, so while this is happening, our Shuka is continuing to stay in his mother's womb. He is not willing to come out. So this is like puzzling, where Maharshi Veda Vyasa and Vitika Devi are extremely concerned now. Trust me, it's been 16 long years. It might sound very unreal for the Kali Yuga, but this has actually happened, where he stays in his mother's womb for 16 long years. And 16 long years, he has been only, getting the oral knowledge from his father, and but he's unwilling to come out. The reason being, he has already witnessed he has already witnessed the worldly life, and he doesn't wanted to get into Maya. So for him, getting into Maya was not the point to come. That was the only reason he was not willing to come out of his mother's womb. And when Veda Vyasa approaches him and he requests him, see, your mother is in extreme pain and you cannot just reside in the womb forever. You have to come out. You have to see this world. So upon the persuasion from his father, he implores him to get Lord Krishna, bring in Lord Krishna. And that is where our super personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is in the hermitage of Veda Vyasa, and he's speaking to Shukadev while he's in the womb of the mother. And he tells him, and he inquires again the reason, and when obviously he tells him that I do not want to be inflicted by the Maya and this world, so please don't force me to come out. So Lord Krishna says that not to worry, I give you a boon that when you are out, you will not be inflicted by, or you'll have any implications from the Maya, and you will, wherever there are Krishna Leelas and Krishna Kathas, you will always be in bliss. So he blesses him, and then he leaves. So now, after getting the assurance from who else is the super personality of Godhead, he eventually gets, he comes out of his mother's womb. So since he has already got all the knowledge, all the literary knowledge, all the scriptural knowledge, he is a realized soul. He is an enlightened soul. And what he does is immediately after his birth, in order to continue the, he wanted to continue his life as a sage and give up on the all worldly things. And he actually heads towards the forest so that he can perform the austerities and meditate. So thus he heads towards the forest. Now, Vedavyasa, he had a purpose. He had a purpose for his son. So he's perplexed now. He's very, very bothered. Like, why my son is running away? And when Shukadev Maharaj was, heading towards the forest, Vedavyasa also runs behind him in order to stop him. And he calls out, "Son, son!" He's literally crying for his son, but he doesn't listen because he doesn't want to be in this world at all. So as he is walking ahead, our Vedavyasa is also following him. And on the way, there is a pond where the celestial damsels are bathing. So when the celestial damsels were bathing, when as soon as Shukadev Goswami enters that arena or the place, they are unperturbed, they are undisturbed, they are unconcerned. They are not at all bothered, like what is happening around. I mean, if there is a young boy who's unclad, and